The silence in the war room was palpable. Every alien commander present, representing species from across the galaxy, stared at the holographic display with disbelief. Their fleets had been decimated, their planetary defenses dismantled in record time, and their proudest warriors scattered like dust in the wind. The culprit? A small fleet from Earth, piloted by humans. "This is impossible," muttered General Rollick of the Thargash Empire, his scaled fists slamming against the table. "They are one of the youngest spacefaring races. We had every advantage. Superior technology, numbers, experience." A collective murmur of agreement filled the room. The gathered leaders represented the coalition of galactic powers, a vast alliance of alien species that had ruled the stars for millennia. They were no strangers to conflict. They had fought and conquered countless worlds, crushed rebellions, and expanded their reach without challenge. Until now. Sitting at the head of the table, Admiral Kethros of the Ikril, the most advanced race in the galaxy, spoke up. "We underestimated them. Humanity's tactics are unconventional." "Unconventional," Rollick growled. "They obliterated my homeworld's defense fleet with a mining laser." "Who uses a mining laser in a space battle?" Admiral Kethros sighed. "Once." It all started with an unexpected skirmish in the Gliese system. The coalition, believing themselves invincible, had moved to annex a resource-rich planet on the edge of human-controlled space. They didn't expect resistance. The coalition had faced fledgling races before, species that had barely developed faster than light travel. Humanity would be no different. But the humans sent a response fleet. Not a large one by coalition standards. 5 ships, all small and seemingly underarmed, compared to the massive armada the coalition had assembled. It should have been a one-sided battle. It wasn't. When the first human ship entered the battlefield, it seemed to follow no logical strategy. Instead of positioning themselves in standard formation, the human ships split up, flying in erratic patterns. The coalition commanders were puzzled, thinking it was some kind of mistake, perhaps even a surrender maneuver. Then, without warning, the lead human ship, a modified freighter, fired its mining laser at the coalition's largest battleship. It was meant to cut asteroids and mine raw materials, not to pierce military armor. But the beam hit the ship's fuel cells at just the right angle, causing a chain reaction that detonated the battleship from within. The once proud flagship of the Thargash fleet turned into a ball of fire in an instant. The coalition had no time to react. The other human ships followed suit, using everything in their arsenal, no matter how crude. Harpoons, industrial saws, makeshift missile launchers. Each weapon seemed designed for something other than war, but the humans wielded them with terrifying precision. They didn't just fight, they dismantled the coalition forces piece by piece, as if pulling apart a faulty machine. The most unsettling part, however, was the ruthlessness. Once the battle started, the humans didn't stop until there was nothing left. Escape pods, crippled ships, and defenseless outposts. Everything was systematically destroyed. To them, there was no such thing as leaving survivors. By the time the battle ended, the entire coalition fleet had been wiped out. Not a single human ship was lost. Back in the war room, the discussion had devolved into chaos. Each leader shouted over the other, trying to make sense of what had happened. How could a species so young, so reckless, have dismantled the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever known? "We underestimated their capacity for destruction," Admiral Kethros said, his voice cutting through the noise. "Humans don't fight like we do. They don't have the same sense of honor, of proportionality. To them, overkill is not a strategy, it's an instinct." General Rollick shook his head in disbelief. "But why? Why such ruthlessness?" Kethros leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "Because they know what we don't. When they go to war, they don't see enemies. They see threats. And when humans perceive a threat, they don't just neutralize it, they obliterate it. Completely. Utterly." The room fell silent once more. "Their history is full of this," Kethros continued. "From their own ancient wars to their expansion into space. When they fought each other, their victories were absolute. They called it mutually assured destruction on their homeworld. Now they've brought that philosophy to the stars. The door to the war room slid open, and a nervous aide entered, carrying a datapad. He approached Admiral Kethros, whispering something in his ear. Kethros' eyes darkened. "What is it?" Rollick demanded. Kethros set the datapad down on the table, its display flickering to life. "The humans have sent a message." Everyone leaned in, anxious to see what humanity had to say after such a devastating victory. The message was brief, displayed in stark, cold text on the screen. "Surrender now, or face the consequences." Below the text was a single image, a planet, once vibrant and full of life, now reduced to a smoldering wasteland. It was Rollick's homeworld. They wouldn't dare, Rollick stammered, his voice barely a whisper. Admiral Kethros' voice was steady, grim. "They already have." Rollick's fists clenched, his voice rising in anger and despair. "This is madness. There were civilians, innocents. This is overkill." Kethros stood slowly, the weight of the moment pressing on him. "To humans, there is no such thing as overkill. Only survival." The coalition of galactic powers dissolved that very day. One by one, the species that had once ruled the galaxy laid down their arms and signed treaties with the humans. Some called it surrender, others survival. But to the humans, it was just another day in their relentless quest for security. What the rest of the galaxy had come to fear was now a known fact. Humanity never fought fair. They fought to win, at any cost. And when faced with a threat, they would do whatever it took to ensure it never returned. In the end, the galaxy learned one simple truth. What humans call overkill, the universe calls extinction.